Hey, Scorpio, and welcome to your February reading. I'm Madeline, if we haven't met before. So, as always, we are going to start by pulling a tarot spread to look at the story of your month, where you are, and what is showing up for you. And then, to cap off your reading, we will pull a couple cards from the Star Codes Astro Oracle deck to get a little clarity and guidance from your guides and your stars. So, let's jump in, shall we, Scorpio? Spirit, we want to know the truth for Scorpio's highest good. We want to know how Scorpio is showing up and what kind of energies are showing up around Scorpio in the month of February. Spirit, what's showing up? What themes, energies, people, helpful or hindering influences? Spirit, we want to know what Scorpio needs to know for their highest good in the month of February. Any elements of the past as they pertain to the present and the unfolding future. Spirit, what does Scorpio need to know to walk into the future that is most fulfilling, peaceful, secure, abundant, enjoyable? What do they need to know, Spirit, this month for their highest good? Let's see what's showing up for Scorpio. Okay, lucky 13. Got some bonus cards, Leo. Let's go. Why did I just call you Leo? I know who I'm talking to. Please, I promise. And then that flew, oh my God, not that. But that's nice. That's nice to see. But I was going to say this flew out. It's like, yes, we know we're talking to Scorpio. Okay. But maybe you know a Leo? Scorpio in the month of February. Their highest good. Okay. Wow. Do you know a Leo? Second card up. Leo card. That's fun. Okay. Well, at least that makes a little more sense. Hey, are you making the mistake of not giving yourself enough credit, Scorpio? It would be a rare thing, but it happens to the best of us. And the most self-possessed of us. How's that for a rhyme? Good. Okay, Scorpio, here's what I'm hearing. Before I get into this, let me just say these are general readings. Of course you know that, Scorpio, because we're here on YouTube, right? So this reading, I'm an intuitive reader. I'm a medium. I listen to what spirit shows and whispers to me, and I relay it to you. And because there are many different Scorpios listening to this reading, there are many different interpretations for this spread of cards, but all Scorpios are undergoing similar themes. So take what resonates and serves you and that you value, leave the rest knowing it's for some other Scorpio. I am hearing that regardless of where you find yourself on this particular spectrum of feeling like perhaps you used to be at your best or like at a better spot, and right now you feel like you're kind of like battling to find your place, or maybe feeling a little bit like not as solid as before. I just want to say that's a phase. That's not forever. Like, you are on your way out of the phase of feeling like, can I even do this? Any kind of like insecurity or any kind of like fear or unsureness around your approach. Okay, let's talk. Okay. Scorpio, the center of your reading, the Five of Wands. What I'm hearing is competition, as in, we are all out here trying to do what it is that we find interesting, fun, exciting. We're all looking for fulfillment. And in that search for fulfillment, we discover that the things that we do or think are interesting, there are other people who are also doing that thing. And if we make the mistake of trying to get into like a wand measuring contest, we can get thrown off track. We can lose sight of what it is that we were doing this for in the first place, and we can just get into measuring wands. I'm not going to say dick measuring contest because I'm classy, but you know what I'm talking about. So if you are comparing yourself to others, that would be something not to demonize, but to notice and to ask, what is the end point of that? Do I walk away after I compare myself to these other people or competing with these other people? Does that make me feel ignited and excited? Well, then there's no problem, right? If that like really drives you and gives you good ideas and etc., no problem at all. Keep going, keep doing that. And if it though kind of makes you zero in on and focus on your insecurities or your fears or what other people got that I don't got, then you might want to take a different approach. Now, regardless, so that Eight of Swords is crowning your reading. Crossing that Five of Wands at the center of your spread is that Strength card, as I mentioned before. So, Strength would imply that you might want to use some brute force. You might want to use some harsh words to really defend yourself, to make your mark or stake your claim. I'm not going to tell you not to do that, but what I'll say is first, before you do that, make sure that you consult with your inner lion. Make sure that you get with your inner beast and that you are not um, allowing that inner beast to lash out in ways that you're going to end up not feeling so proud of or happy with later on. Being with your inner lion, so your inner rage or depression or anxiety or jealousy, those socially unacceptable parts of us that are natural, that are part of being a human animal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm hungry and I see that person has food and I might have some ire. I might have some envy, whatever, right? Now, does that make me a terrible person or does that make me hungry? So, this is about getting with the wounded parts of you that are roaring for your attention and not making the mistake of thinking that, I'll just say, knowing that these parts of you that are roaring are asking for your attention, not for like external validation or somebody else's whatever. It needs you. And so if you will be with your depression or your envy or your jealousy or your rage or your grief and stroke them and let them know it's okay for them to be exactly what they are. You're not being with your jealousy so that it will change into something else. You know what I mean? That may happen. That is a thing that often does happen as we sit with things, they transform because, under our compassion, under our love, under our unconditional and infinite love for the child inside, which is also what this is, because it's just the part of us that hasn't necessarily been matured. That's just what Spirit is saying, okay, Scorpio? So some of y'all will know what I'm talking about. This is awfully deep. This has been a day of awfully deep readings. Maybe there's some things happen in February. I mean, Pluto did just enter Aquarius. So every fixed sign is kind of having these little bit of a like come to Jesus, little bit of a face to face with certain fears and doubts and insecurities. And Spirit and I both want you to know that that is not to punish you. That is ultimately for your sense of fulfillment, understanding your ability to love your whole self. Because when you love your whole self, including the parts of you you don't like, you gain the power of all of you rather than here are my partitions. Because you know what? When I try to push away and dampen my jealousy or my envy, maybe my passion also dims. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. In the basement of your reading, appropriately, the card representing the unconscious. Spirit is saying very specifically, pay attention to your dreams, Scorpio. Have you been having dreams that have kind of a certain theme to them? I'm not talking about just recurring dreams, although that's possible. I'm talking about like maybe you keep having the same dream that like you're trying to get somewhere but you get lost, or that you are trying to get ready for something and you can't find your shoes, or whatever. What have you been dreaming? What have been maybe patterns or things that like even just patterns of emotion? Like what was your experience during the dream? And what is that letting you know? Notice your patterns. That's the other thing about the moon is like those unconscious patterns where it's like just the same way you might get up and brush your teeth without thinking about it, you might also slap away a compliment without thinking about it. That's what Spirit is saying. What unconscious patterns are preventing you from loving and being your whole self? I feel like you might be protecting yourself from a certain amount of affection or love or support. Um, and I would just ask for you to reflect on why that might be. And for some, what I'm hearing is like there's old programming of like, I'm not worthy. Like, I'm not even worthy of that kind of attention, or that kind of attention is like navel gazing bullshit. And you should just pull up your bootstraps and get on with life or whatever. And it's like, no, no, actually, like, that's fundamentally and objectively like a ridiculous response, because if I shatter like your fucking ankle and then I tell you, okay, now keep going, is that a smarter move than sitting the fuck back for 6 weeks or months, or however long it takes to come back to health? Or is it smarter and stronger to hobble around on a shattered ankle? I would argue no. I would argue it shows more courage and strength to have the have the consciousness to know that we're not perfect, and that we have areas that need healing or need support, and that we don't have to be strong and perfect all the time. Okay? Sitting in the position of where you find yourself, Queen of Swords, this is where we're talking about like the defensiveness, or the like, I'm okay, slapping away the compliment, slapping away the assistance, slapping away the affection or emotional support, because like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. And that would not be your fault, Scorpio. Here's something else that I'm hearing. We're getting real fucking deep, but Spirit's like, some of y'all have like difficult relationships with your mothers. So it's like, I have a hard time receiving affection or assistance, not because I'm just like a cold hearted whatever. It's because like nobody taught me how to do that. And maybe when that, hand was extended in the past, it came with strings, or it came with whatever. And so I'm unconsciously holding myself back and obeying my fears more than my desires, because I don't want to get hurt. But here's the truth, and you know it, Scorpio, so I don't have to belabor the point. You know that life includes pain. That's just part of being on earth, right? We're going to experience contrast, we're going to experience pain, and it's what we do with it that, that's the meaning. The meaning, only meaning is the meaning that we make. Sitting in the past, Nine of Pentacles, Spirit is supporting you, congratulating you, reminding you how skilled you are, how far you've come, and that again, if you are in a place of questioning or totally shifting what it is that you do, that all of that worth and value that you have built up stays with you, and you will feel that way again. So don't get attached. It sounds silly to say like, girl, why would I be attached to that? Like, no, not like, ooh, I love this, but like, it's going to be like this forever. Fuck, what if it's like this forever? You know what I mean? And then we just clench, and like, we don't need to clench right now. As a matter of fact, the energy around and available to you, new horizons, your ships are coming in, things are opening up for you. So you don't have to be afraid. You can be afraid. It's okay. Because you know what? Here's another thing that you don't need to be afraid of. You don't need to be afraid that being afraid will keep you from getting where you're trying to go. That's the whole motherfucking thing. It's like, hey, let me be with my fear. Hey, what are we afraid of? Okay, let's talk about it. Let's feel about it. What do we do if that happens? Okay, I think we would do this. It's like being truly with that inner child and helping them through, like, what would it be like to be more visible? What would it be like to leave this unhappy marriage? Whatever. Okay? Be gentle with you. Things are opening up for you. Before we jump to the future, I will jump right over here, Scorpio, to two cards that ended up right next to each other. So which one are you? Are you the king or the queen? Nothing to do with sex and gender, everything to do with personality type, where the kings demonstrate to the world and everyone can see that the King of Cups is like, has emotional and psychological mastery. Like, oh, yeah, that's a social worker or a therapist or a village witch or a whatever. That's a person who is like, this is what I do, the whole world can see it. Or are you the Queen of Cups, who is more focused on their inner world? Sounds like that might be you this month, Scorpio, considering the Strength card, the Moon card. Regardless of which one you are, the other offers the support and the mirror for the work that you're doing. Like, oh, you're reflecting deeply on who you are. Here's what I'm noticing. What a beautiful, perfect match. And so this may well be your romantic partner. This could also be a good friend or even a great therapist, like somebody who just really helps you navigate and surf the emotional waves, Scorpio. I love to see it. And to jump to your future, finally, remembering that the Five of Wands was in the present of like, I don't even, am I even doing this right? I'm just kind of like looking at what everybody else is doing and it's a little bit of static. And when we jump to the future, there's some clarity around a seed of opportunity, a little chunk of income. What should I do with this? A little chunk of creativity. What should I do with this? A great seed of an idea. And when you allow it to be watered with your wishes, with your desire, with your childlike, innocent exuberance and optimism, it grows, it multiplies many times over. The Eight of Pentacles is the card of joyous work, joyful, skill building, money growing work, where it's like, this is what I'm great at. That's the idea of the Eight of Pentacles, is it's right on the edge of mastery, right? The apprentice who is on the edge of mastery. And we can all aspire to mastery because it's like, that's what sounds like the best, is like, oh, I'm the master of this craft, right? But sometimes when we've already reached mastery and we're done, we can get bored. We can start taking for granted these skills. The Eight of Pentacles is a wonderful place to be because that's when we're like super fucking obsessed and fascinated and so excited about what it is that we're learning, doing, becoming. So enjoy that sweet spot. And if you have any questions about what is going to bring you a greater sense of like security and stability within yourself, one of those things is going to be focusing on a skill that you want to build, because that gives you confidence, you know? So whether you're like learning a language or learning to read tarot cards or learning how to run a 5K, whatever it is that you are putting strong and steady applied work in, and you can feel and see the tangible results of your efforts, that's going to be one of the things that helps bring you more confidence and courage. And that confidence and courage will spill into other areas of your life. So it might sound silly to say you learning, you starting to lift heavy weights and being able to notice how much, you're able to carry, or running that 5K and being like, wow, I'm, a minute faster than I was last week. It might sound silly to say that will spill over into, and now I have more courage and confidence to like examine my childhood emotional wounds so that I can grow closer to the people I love. Sounds weird? It's totally a fucking thing. It is self-actualization, and sometimes it is easier to start with one part of our lives, something like our physical health, than it is to start with like, oh, my childhood trauma. And sometimes it's vice versa. Your mileage may vary. Okay, Scorpio. Finally, let's pull a couple of cards from the Star Codes Astro Oracle deck. Spirit, we would love your guidance and clarification on what Scorpio benefits from knowing, doing, or embodying in the month of February. Wow. So first up, the imum coeli, which is Latin for the bottom of your chart, the root. Hello, the root, the beginning, the seed. And then we have the transits card, climate. This is about change, cycles. Transits are where the planets move in the moment, right? So the climate will change, and the climate of how you relate to yourself will change. So I feel like this is, Spirit is honoring the fact that as you examine the root, healthy roots, healthy fruits, as you go deep within yourself to the somewhat dark or scary or wild places, You heal the root, and the root leads to the tree, and the tree leads to the forest, and the forest is what dictates the ecosystem, is what Spirit is saying. That's science, but that's what Spirit is making the comparison to. You change in the most beneficial way the climate around you when you start with the root. Simple, potent wisdom. How's that sit with you, Scorpio? I would love to hear if you've got reflections or stories or questions. Please let me know just south of this reading. And if you ever want to get a personal reading, you can do that on madelinethevillagewitch.com, or you can check out that description box also south of this video for all the things. Thank you for being here, Scorpio. I truly hope that it helps you have a better month, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.